Alright, so this is going to be a reading for Sagittarius, and right away, Sagittarius, I'm seeing that someone wants to come towards you with a message, and for many of you, this could be someone with a masculine energy because we have the King of Wands, the Fool, and the Emperor here, as well as the King of Pentacles. And this person is very much looking to connect with you, or at least give an offer of connection with you. That's in the overall energy. However, this may be someone that you feel like things are closed off with them, and it may take a certain level of lowering your guard and kind of compromising with how you would typically respond to this energy, or being a little bit more open to them than you would typically be, because the oracle cards that are coming out right now are friendliness, the master, and compromise. So it's kind of like you have to master this energy of friendliness and compromise and kind of overcome any limitations to that energy that you may have in order to receive this person's offer here. And they're kind of showing me that to send you this message or to come towards you in this way would really be taking a leap of faith for them with the Fool. It would be almost impulsive or just taking a risk to do this and to come towards you. But with the Emperor, they have this feeling of wanting to do it right or needing to be in control of the situation in some way, and so it would require them as well to leave behind any notions that they have around approaching you or what that would mean, or any sort of hang-ups that they have around coming towards you in order to do that. Now, I want to dive into this situation because in the recent past, we have the Ten of Pentacles, the Six of Wands, the Five of Cups. So this is a situation that to you may have seemed pretty solidly like it was over. At least it seemed pretty solidly to anyone involved, especially if there were multiple energies here, that there was an ending with this or that things were done. But with the Five of Cups here, there may have been some pain around that ending, or maybe some disappointment that this had to end. In the current energy, I kind of see you wondering with the Page of Swords, the World card, and the Eight of Wands, is this really over, or is there communication that's going to come through? And then in the near future, we have the Hierophant, the Three of Wands, the Hangman. So I see you kind of waiting to see what's going to happen in this situation and what's really meant to happen in this situation. So we'll dive into the energies and see what's going on here with this other energy. And like I said, for many of you, this could be a masculine energy that wants to come towards you. In tarot, there is no gender. We all have masculine and feminine within us. So for some of you, this could be a literal man, but for others of you, this could just be someone who embodies more masculine energy in some way. And thank you for everyone who's tuned into this reading. If it resonates with you, please like and subscribe for more readings. That way your energy can help manifest these messages, and the more messages I put out, the more you'll resonate with them, and they will be specifically for you. So let's dive in here into the past with the Ten of Pentacles. The Wheel of Fortune, the Six of Swords, the Six of Cups. The number 6 could be significant here. June could be significant. That's Gemini and Cancer energy. But it doesn't necessarily have to be. Maybe something happened around June time or in those seasons for some of you, but doesn't necessarily have to be. But I'm seeing here that something happened where an energy kind of switched and you had to move away from it. And this is definitely something that happened deeply in the past. For some of you, it could be 6 months ago. For others of you, 6 years ago, or even longer. Let's take a look at the Six of Wands. This was something in your foundation that changed, and it's almost looking like it was meant to be here with the Six of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Ten of Pentacles. It was almost like in the life path that you had established for yourself before you incarnated, this was kind of destined to happen for some reason. You were meant to move forward from this. For some of you, it may have been a lesson you were meant to learn. For others of you, it may have been something that just needed to happen in order to move you forward in your life. But for many of you, this could have just felt destined, whatever this was, or connected to some type of soul connection or some type of soul path. Let's take a look at that Six of Wands in the recent past. the Hierophant, 8 of Cups, the 7 of Swords. Even though it may have felt like you were supposed to do this, at other times you might have doubted, is this the right decision? Is this really what's meant for you? And so that is what I see you kind of going back and forth on, even though it did feel like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And for many of you, it may have felt like something that helped you align closer with yourself. But then there were some doubts there with the 7 of Swords. Show me the 7 of Swords. The Moon, the 8 of Swords, the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, you were just kind of wondering, is this the right decision? Does this make sense? Especially because whatever this was may have changed your foundations or changed life as you knew it, your comfort zone, your status quo. It really forced you to step outside of that and into something new. And it may have activated fears for you around, am I going to be established enough? Am I going to be secure enough? The stability that I had in this situation, am I still going to have it? And so whatever this was, looks like it may have shaken your confidence a little bit, and there may have been some pain attached to this as well that could have activated your inner child, with the Page of Wands and the Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck, and that part of you that wants to know, is everything going to be okay? Am I going to be okay here? So let's take a look at that 5 of Cups. You have the Hanged Man, Pisces energy. The 4 of Swords, the Lovers. There was a disappointment here around possibly connections or a connection involved in this, or just the fact that you had to make some really difficult choices, and it was almost like you knew for your better good that it was going to be more restorative for you to step away from this and to kind of change how you approached whatever other energies were involved in this situation, but it still comes through as quite painful and possibly as something that you didn't really want to do. And for that reason, you could have gone back and forth about, do I move forward with this or not, And now I see you kind of wondering in the current energy, is this really over? Because there's definitely an energy exchange here, even if you're not connected to the other energy involved in this. Physically or in your day-to-day life, there still is an energetic exchange, even if it's not showing up in the material world. Let's take a look at that World card in the very center of your reading. It's kind of the central question: is this really done? Is the cycle really closed out? Because I see you kind of poking around it and wondering, is this going to come through again? And you could be picking up on the other energy that's involved here, who seems like they very much want to come through towards you, but so far they may have been holding back. Let's take a look at the World card. Nine of Pentacles, 5 of Wands, Page of Cups. The question of whether or not this is over brings up for you some feelings around independence and being able to support yourself on your own. For others of you, this could just be about closing a cycle in which you struggle with being on your own or being independent. Let's look at the Page of Swords. And it's like once you kind of get into that energy of maybe being a little bit disconnected from your own sense of self, or just feeling like you need to rely on other people, that's when this question kind of comes up for you around, what's going on with this other energy. It comes almost from a place of when you're struggling with yourself and relying on yourself that you tend to look towards this other energy. So there could be a little bit of codependence that maybe went on in this connection, or just that was triggered by this connection. For the Page of Swords, we have the 6 of Wands, the 9 of Swords, the Queen of Cups. Aww, there's this feeling of, do they still care about me? Do they still want me? Do they still desire me? And that feeling hasn't quite left you, and it tends to get triggered when you're feeling a little bit insecure in yourself, that you start to look for this other energy, for their validation, for their care. Maybe it felt like they gave you a level of love that you weren't able to give to yourself, and that's sort of the wound that's trying to close, the scab that's trying to heal, is that part of you that you pick at, where you want to be validated by this other energy, or kind of have them fill a space within you that you're actually meant to be filling within yourself. And that scab is trying to close, that wound is trying to heal, but I see that for whatever reason, it's kind of coming up for you at this time. Let's take a look at the Eight of Wands. Ace of Pentacles, King of Swords, Two of Pentacles. There may be a part of you that thinks, okay, even if this person does come towards me in some way, I'm going to figure out exactly what to do, or I need to figure out exactly what to do. It comes out pretty practical, your energy in some way seems to be calling to them, and they in some way seem to be wanting to reach out to you. Whether or not they've actually done that, or whether they actually do that, I'm not really sure. I see you kind of hanging on here and waiting in some way to see what happens. But in the meantime, I see you kind of coming up at least a little bit in your head with a plan of what am I going to do if they do come towards me. And don't say you're not coming up with that plan, because I think that, maybe late at night when you start thinking about this, or maybe when you start daydreaming about them, a little part of you is like, okay, I have to be prepared for them to come towards me, and to come up with sort of the most logical solution of what am I going to say and how am I going to go about this and all of that. Interesting. I feel like I should pull one more card about that energy with the Eight of Wands. Yeah, you're looking out towards them, looking out towards the horizon. When is this person going to come towards me? It's almost like you know them, like you know that they're going to come towards you. And so it's not really a matter of if, but a matter of when. And you're kind of thinking, okay, when they come towards me, I kind of need to be ready here, because you don't want to be caught off guard, or, you're tired of waiting, and, maybe if in your mind, if you come up with a plan, it'll kind of pull this in towards you. I don't know. It's going to be different for everyone, but there's definitely this energy of them wanting to come towards you, and you picking up on that energy and thinking about how am I going to receive that. How healthy that is for you, I'm not entirely sure. It's almost like you're waiting. For some of you, you've been waiting for 9 months or 9 years, 3 years for some of you. And it's like energetically you're kind of getting tired of waiting, and you're like, when are they going to just come through with this already? And in the meantime, you're coming up with some type of idea of what you're going to do when they do come towards you. Okay. It does look a little bit unhealthy here, a little bit obsessive with the Devil on the bottom of the deck. For you to be like looking out and waiting towards them. I don't suggest waiting for someone energetically, but also sometimes it feels like we can't help it, right? And that's very much the energy that I'm seeing for you. You may know that this is obsessive, or you may know that this isn't the healthiest, but it's still something that you do. You look towards this energy. And they also seem to be calling to you. So it's not, completely unfounded, because there is an energy exchange between the two of you, even if you haven't been in contact, that can be kind of hard to ignore. Let's take a look at the Hierophant in the near future. The Moon, the Queen of Pentacles, the Six of Wands. What does this have to do with the Hierophant? There's this energy that's very confident here around, even if I'm not saying it, even if I have to keep it hidden or I'm not even really acknowledging it, I know that this person and I are connected. Um, and by carrying through that energy in your life, you're actually sort of manifesting this person. All this thought that you are giving to it and all of that, you actually sort of begin to manifest this person, but it's almost like you're not totally aware of the manifestation that's going on here, and it's not necessarily coming from a healed place with the Page of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Magician. It's coming from a part of you that maybe needs some closer examination, and Spirit's kind of asking you to take a little bit more responsibility for your manifestation and look at what is it that you are creating in this situation. And it's very subtle, the energies here. It's an energy that lies very much under the surface with the moon. And it's not something that maybe you're even speaking about to other people, but your energy does point in this one direction and it manifests from that place. And so it's just important that you understand that by focusing so much on this other energy, there is a manifestation that you're kind of pulling in towards you, but if you're not aware of it, you may not manifest exactly what's best for you. Let's take a look at the Three of Wands. Spirit could be asking you here to change your perspective with the Three of Wands to the Hanged Man. Show me the Three of Wands. Six of Pentacles, the Sun, the Hermit. Spirit kind of wants you to look at here what is actually going to make you happy, and what is going to help you heal and balance this situation. And there may be times when you get kind of focused on what's going on with this other energy, or when are they going to come through. And when you do that, you kind of lose sight of what it is that makes you happy, like within yourself, and what helps you balance out. And that's really where you kind of need to redirect your energy towards. And yeah, with the Wheel of Fortune coming out, kind of change how you approach this and ask yourself, what am I supposed to learn from this? How can I grow from this situation? With the Hierophant, the Four of Swords, the Page of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, to kind of release the grip that you have on this and the expectations that you have on this. And I know many of you are going to be sitting there saying, you know, I'm not manifesting them. I'm not sitting here waiting. I'm moving on with my life. But there is some part of you, for the person who's listening, who's resonating with this, who is kind of focused on this energy on some level, and without even maybe realizing how much of an influence it does have, it really does impact the whole way that you move through your life and your spiritual path. Because at the end of the day, your energy gets redirected back to this person or this other energy. And Spirit wants you to rest from what you went through here, because they're saying it wasn't easy and it was painful, and there was a reason that you moved on from it. And I don't see exactly what that reason was, but there may have been aspects of it that you couldn't trust, that you couldn't rely on, that were not the stable, steady ground that you needed to stand on. And even if you're correct that this other person wants to come towards you and that there's this energy exchange between you and all of that, there's a deeper purpose to this experience that's about bringing you closer to yourself and learning about yourself and your path and healing and all of that, that you may not entirely be seeing when you choose to refocus on if this energy is coming back into your life or not. And Spirit wants you to kind of switch up and leave behind, with the Death card at the bottom of the deck, some of the more difficult energies that maybe were in this relationship or in this connection, and move forward once and for all into a more independent space, which may not be exactly what you guys want to hear, but for someone out there, there's someone here who still sort of struggles with fully connecting to themselves and uses this other energy, or the idea of this other energy, to kind of be a little bit avoidant and move away from themselves. Let's take a look at the Hanged Man. Show me the Hanged Man. At times you may struggle with being alone in general, or just struggle with sitting in silence, or not having anything going on, not having any plans, not having any people around you. And those are the times when I see you kind of trying to reconnect back to this energy. And ultimately, the universe is going to keep kind of pushing you to focus more on your own energy until you learn the lessons that you need to. Because a truly healthy and fulfilling connection won't come from a place of codependency or reaching out to someone else because we're avoiding ourselves or any of those energies. It'll come from more of a place of strength within ourselves. Ultimately, I see you having like this lightning bolt moment where you realize what it means to fully love yourself and to give yourself the nurturing and the care that you end up looking for in this other person, that Queen of Cups energy. Queen of Cups, I'm getting this download that I need to talk a little bit about the significance of mother's love and the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is one of the softest, most heart-open, vulnerable, purely loving feminine energies. And part of what you may have gone through with this other energy is you may have looked for them to provide a certain level of deeply satisfying love, care, affection, and validation that for some of you could be triggered by like a mother wound in your early childhood, or not receiving that from a mother, or something like that. And for others of you, it's just sort of an energy that you may need more of in your life, is some of that softness and that sweetness and that care. And it kind of comes through as, it's like you're waiting for this other person, but as you're doing that, the real lesson that you're meant to be learning is about how you can extend this deep, profound level of love and care to yourself. And I see you kind of having this light bulb moment. For some of you, it's already happened. For others of you, it's sort of on the way. But the question that Spirit wants you to ask yourself is, how can I love myself even more? How can I fill my cup even more? And not just so that you're not relying on this other energy, but more just whether or not they're in your life, so that you know that you have this sort of endless fountain of love and care that ultimately comes from your own energy first, and from caring for yourself first. And I see that kind of being the lesson here. And who knows, maybe this energy is going to come back around, and maybe it's not. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you reach a point within yourself of giving yourself a level of love that many of you, I'm seeing, really do need and really are kind of looking for, but you're looking for it possibly in the wrong places when you look for it in other people. And so the question is kind of, how can you love yourself? So a little bit of homework tonight on AJ's Tarot. How can you really extend to yourself the love and care that you're looking for to this other person? And that's when you're really going to start to heal with the World card at the bottom of the deck, and sort of become this fuller, more nourished version of yourself, is when you stop looking to other people to fulfill you and fill yourself and fill your own cup. Okay, let's get 3 cards of advice from Spirit before we close out this reading. Knight of Pentacles, 5 of Swords, Ace of Swords. They're saying you're so distracted by whether or not this is coming towards you, and you're getting so wrapped up in that in your head, and the time that it's taking. Like, maybe for many of you, if you feel like you've been waiting for this other energy to come towards you, and you've been waiting for a long time, and you've been grieving and all of these things, it can feel like, why hasn't it happened yet? And you're getting all caught up in that. And you're not seeing the message of this whole experience with this other energy, which, like I said, is about self-love and abundance and self-care and nourishing yourself and being your own stage to stand on rather than looking outside of yourself and all of that. And once you actually turn around and look at that feeling and that message and that energy, that's when you're going to feel a lot more clarity and a lot more relaxed. But right now you're oriented in the other direction. You're waiting for this other energy, which is understandable because they are sending you some type of energetic feeling or message here. But ultimately, it's going to take a certain level of self discipline for you to look away from that person and more towards yourself and like the larger message of what this whole experience is trying to teach you. Because this does look like, with the lovers at the bottom of the deck, like a deeply felt connection, possibly a soul bond, a soul connection. But there's also a lesson within the lovers. And for many of you, it's going to be different, and many different relationships have different lessons. But there is a specific lesson within this connection that is actually meant to bring you closer to yourself than to this other person. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope that this helped. I hope it resonated, and I'll see you next time.